Hello, welcome to tonight's Gemini season tarot forecast for the collective. I'm going to be pulling 4 cards tonight. 4 cards to help us navigate this season. Hello, hello, hello to those joining me right now. Hi. Hello, welcome. Hello, how are we all feeling? It's a new season. Are we stoked? Hello everyone. Tell me, how's my connection? Because my regular phone is still locked out of Instagram. So I'm on my a content phone and I'm streaming, or I'm hotspotting it. So I hope the connection's coming through okay. Hope you guys all have your tea. I have my cacao here. I'm pretty happy. I've got a nice flower remedy that I'm going to take before we begin the festivities. I'm almost out here. All right. And I've got my tarot deck, Ruby. Connection good. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for vibing with me. Whew. Has anyone else been feeling a crazy energetic shift in the past week? Because some stuff's happened that's just wasn't in the cards even a month ago in my life. And I'm wondering if that's happening with other people as well. Really big, I want to say, leaps in self-development personally. Really big kind of events in my external world are manifesting right now as well, which is really cool. Change in connectivity with other people, which is awesome. Really happy for that part of Gemini season to arrive. I went to my first kind of in-person event in a long time, a beautiful meditation and sound healing at Arenda, I think it's called, near me, which was really fun. I feel like the shit has been hitting the fan. Shadow work. Yeah. But do you feel like you're more equipped to deal with it now? Because I've had some shadow stuff happening, presenting itself. And we've talked previously about those integration challenges, as I call them, that present themselves to test you to see if you've actually integrated your lessons, if you have actually integrated your shadow work. How are you going to respond? What's your knee-jerk reaction? How are you going to contemplate how you respond to this challenge? And I'm seeing so much maturity in my response, but also in responses around me as well, whether it's my partner or in my family. So how are you guys dealing with those tests? That's probably one of the gifts of Taurus season, that grounding into the reality of what's happening rather than the kind of crazy and emotional or mental responses we have. Wild as heck. Yes, personal links connecting wild. Great. Hello Z, nice to have you here. Yeah, so one thing that happened is I would not have even dreamed of this happening even a few days ago. You all know my cat Bread. Beautiful, gentle, loving cat Bread. He caught a mouse. Right? He caught a mouse. I told my mum and my sister and they couldn't believe it. We got photos just to prove that it happened. But he's activated. Something's changed. At the ripe old age of 10, he has caught a mouse and he's changed the trajectory. He's unlocked this new thing he can do. Thankfully, he didn't kill it. He just caught and released it. It was very cute. Endless Libertas. I reversed my car into a steel bollard a couple of weeks back. Oh, first mistake in over 20 years of driving. That's a pretty good record. And it could have been way worse. Imagine if your first kind of car accident thing was worse than that. That would have sucked. So trying to see the positive in that, thank goodness it was something as simple. I'm assuming you were okay. Were you okay? Let us know. Go Brady. He was so proud. I got freaked out, but after I like got over my reaction, I was like, no, it's actually fine, and this mouse isn't dead, so if we can just like corral him outside, that'll be awesome. Hello, Inchine Energy, welcome, nice to have you here. We're just getting warmed up, getting the deck warmed up with everyone's energy, so I can do a good reading for the collective here. We're going to be pulling 4 cards to help us navigate the Gemini season for the next 4 weeks. As always, I pull a card for physical guidance, mental guidance, emotional guidance, and spiritual guidance. And I speak to the symbols in the card to help get that kind of high wisdom. So let's just all take a moment to call on our spirit teams and guides to come and join us for this reading and to pass down any wisdom that they want to share into the cards, to make it clear in the symbols so I can receive the message and share it with you all. And I want to thank them for their presence. They're always with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So before we begin, and I'm probably going to try to run through this quick because on this phone I don't have much battery. Let's reflect on Gemini season. Gemini is really interesting to me. It's an air sign. I have a lot of air, but not a lot of Gemini personally. But it's all about like comprehending the existence of duality. So I talked about it in the post for this session. The way we use our minds to kind of understand, perceive, and then communicate how we understand it, speaking our thoughts about what it is to exist between these two poles in our lives, in this world, in the 3D. And you can get really chatty about that. You can get really opinionated. You can just like revel in like the connection that can happen through communication with others. So Gemini's often talked about as like a really social and communicative sign or energy. I see it so much reflected in the tarot with the cards like the Lovers, for instance, which is the Gemini tarot card, which is loaded with symbolism. I did a class today and we talked a little bit about the Lovers card with just how many symbols are in there. But it's really about like the world. After Taurus season, we go through these like invitations from the natural world to develop our like values and indulge our sensory, like our senses, to experience pleasure and everything beautiful and lush that this world has to offer us. And then we get to Gemini, and so we kind of start to perceive what that is and what we know. We start perceiving what we know based on our lived experience so far, and we start speaking our truth, and we start connecting with others. And so often connection is intellectual. So yeah, like while the Lovers card has a lot to do with sex and like magnetism, electromagnetic kind of attraction is represented in that card, but it's also about the connection that develops through like getting to know someone as well, you know, by talking to them and listening. Although I would say that Gemini's probably like better at talking than listening. But they're beautiful. Gemini energy can be challenging because sometimes it can be contradictory, or it can be, you can even come across as kind of hypocritical because you're trying to reconcile sides of polarity. It's a freeing experience in that respect, the Gemini energy, because you're encouraged to explore both sides and decide what it is that's like meaningful to you. So it can be, I think it's a very fun time. It's a social time. So lean into that energy. But it's also a time to let your mind expand a little and be open to considering alternate points of view without judgment, and not what other people are saying, but how you might think about them. And it's okay to be wrong at this time too. It's that like reconciling the left and right brain, you know, unifying the left and right brain. What the hell is that? That's not an easy thing to do. Okay, let's go through these comments before I start pulling cards. Okay, let's see. How are you, Animus Libertas? I'm okay. Showed me the fragility of my life security financially. Yeah, they're always tough lessons. Thankfully, insurance is fixing it. Good. It was close to being a write-off. Oh, it sucks when it's almost a write-off. You want it to be a write-off. But no, it's good that you're okay. That's the main thing. And sometimes when those financial tests pop up, my experience anyway, you're on the edge of like a financial breakthrough. You've just started to like maybe get some savings together, or you know, something's happened where you feel a bit more confidence in your finances, and then you'll get a test like that, and it's still, there's a tiny bit more space to clear before the bigger windfall comes, and more trust to be built that everything's going to be okay, that you're protected, that everything's all right. 12th house, Martika. The Lovers card is always the hardest for me to understand. It's a journey, especially those cards with like, that say they're one thing, like the Lovers. It's about people in love, but you've got all this symbolism in it. There's so many layers to unpack, and much myth in there too. You've got that whole Adam and Eve dynamic, which is interesting, and like the flame tree and the tree of like knowledge and the serpent, and everything's happening. Jen, my mum is a Gemini. The more I learn about that sign, the more things make sense. Yeah. My dad's a Gemini, and it's the same thing. He confuses me a bit as a Gemini. But like, you know what? Donald Trump's a Gemini, and he's an excellent Gemini. Like, he doesn't care if he looks wrong. He just loves talking, right? And he, in his own way, people have opinions about this guy, but he somehow is charming, you know? People loved him on The Apprentice. Gemini snakes in my experience. Look, Geminis also can be two-faced, you know? They're playing both sides, like both hands. So that's a possible thing too. And undeveloped, say, Gemini energy that's not in its highest accord can be like that. It's better to fix it at the moment. Secondhand car prices are high. I know. Con job, love it. So I was happy. Okay, good. That's good. All right. I think we're adequately warmed up now. Let's get into the cards. So we're all familiar with it. I mean, anyone else want to add anything about Gemini energy? Because it's cool to share here. So there's a few new faces here, I think. If you haven't been in one of these readings before, watch the replay. I work intuitively with the cards. I work with the symbols of the cards, and I'm working with our collective team of spirit guides here. So I'm going to be channeling messages that come through as well. So anything extra, what I'm seeing in the cards, I've asked them to show me very clearly in the symbols, but I might get some extra drops as well. So let's do this. What is the first card that wants to come? Let's see. Every time we do this, they come in a different order. Physical wants to be first today. Okay, what is the highest wisdom for us? For our physical bodies, our physical selves, our physical world, as we journey through Gemini season. Okay. Physical. Okay, give me a second with this. So we've got the Two of Wands reversed. Okay, we're not living up to our potential from an energetic perspective here. This is a card that's showing us there's an energy block here. And again, what are we seeing? We're seeing the two pillars and someone in the middle who's here to experience the full spectrum of what exists in the poles. And so let's talk about it from an energy perspective, because that's what I'm getting with this fire energy, this Wands energy, that real Agni, fire, you know, the burning kind of inspiration, the burning energy that wants to like burst out of us. So we're here. On the one hand, we can be fully apathetic, completely lazy. We sit down all day long. And then on the other hand, we've got someone who's constantly go, 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 who is does every single crazy like high risk activity that's at the gym every single day. And perhaps if we're not doing much, but we're not doing that, we feel kind of like there's not much in between perhaps, or we don't give ourselves enough credit for stuff the experience that lies in between those two like extremities. So I think the first thing that we want to do is just take like full stock of how our energy feels this month, because it is a really activating time. Gemini season can be really fun and really like provocative, like intellectually. It can be really social, as I said before. It can be really like thought-provoking, that kind of provocative, stimulating, exciting, interesting. From a physical perspective, this might be that we're feeling blocked energetically, and it's because we actually need to try something new, a new activity that we haven't thought about before. It could be that we need to do it with other people, because that would make it more exciting and interesting to us. And always with this card, this person's looking out from his comfort zone, from his current space, his current home, at what is possible beyond his current safe space. So we might be feeling like physically we're kind of not even stuck, but we're just like, life is good enough where we're at right now. Like, we don't need to venture beyond where we're at. We're good enough. We're like not too fat. We're not like, we've got enough energy to get through the day, not feeling really crap, but like what's actually possible. And we're given these bodies, the highest form of technology. I've talked about this recently on a podcast, that there's no higher tech than the physical human body, or other animal bodies for that matter. But like, we are high tech, and like, we're given the whole world, this whole body, which is a universe for so many different organisms, and the world that we exist in. It's a gift for us. Like, we shouldn't take that for granted. We definitely shouldn't take our bodies for granted. So for the first thing, we should acknowledge like how fucking amazing it is that we have a body that carries us through this world, and how much our bodies put up with. Like, feel some gratitude, speak some gratitude to your body about that. But the next thing we want to do is not take for granted like all the stuff that we could be doing with our bodies, that we talk ourselves out of, or that we feel bad about for not doing. Like, think about how could you make the most of your physical temple? What would get you out of your comfort zone and stimulate like growth in you, expansion, feeling better? Imagine it. What would it feel like to feel better than you feel right now? Like really like cast your mind and your heart out further than your safe comfort zone right now, and think about what's possible. How would you want to feel in your physical body? How might you even want to see yourself looking back at you in the mirror? It's not all about weight, and it's not all about fitness. It's also about like how we feel in our health. It's about the energy we have. How can we increase our vitality? How can we increase our energy stores? You know, something that I've never thought about in a long time. I've been doing some study into kind of more shamanic kind of medicine work, which is going to expand for me getting into June. So it's like a preparation thing I'm doing right now. And I've never felt that, I've never been that much of an active person, but all of a sudden I'm like, my body in these kind of like study kind of things that I'm doing, my body wants to move. Like, I think I need to like do something I've never thought of doing, which is like a dance class or something like that, to bring fluidity back into my body, because literally the fluids in my body want to actually move more. They don't want to be still. They want to move more. And the fire in my body, so say that like that Agni, that Kundalini kind of wants to be a bit more active. So like listening, communicating with your body. This could be a really good time to actually communicate with your body and start to think about ways that you can get out of your comfort zone and start challenging yourself to help your health and to help specifically your energy stores and your vitality, because we can all do more to feel more vital and to feel more spirited and to feel more energy that we can then share our spirit, share our light with the world, because we are energized and have the energy to do it. Ooh, I like that one. That was good. Okay, so that was physical. Any thoughts, feedbacks? How's that sitting with you guys? Have you been thinking about your physical bodies? This can also be, I want to say this again. So if it's not about your physical body, it might be about your physical space. This is not just about our bodies. This is about our physical reality, our material reality. So it might be something else I'm working with at the moment. Home improvements. It might be building that energy store to be able to embark on a really big project that physically transforms your world, your living space. That's another way to look at that one. Okay. That was grand. Very good. Heather, I've been working on loving my physical body without judging on any part so hard. It is. Because all we're presented is with these extremes, but no one sits on the extreme. Like, we all sit somewhere on the spectrum that sits between and move. We fluctuate. Like, we're not stagnant beings. So it's really hard when all we're shown is these two extremities to really have acceptance for ourselves. But like, a beautiful gift, especially when we're thinking about our bodies, is to think of it like a best friend. You know, they carry us through so much, or our child, or whatever it might be. You know, the harsh judgments we cast on ourselves, on our physical bodies, these things that like house at the temple for our soul. Like, if we heard someone else speaking to their themselves the way we speak to ourselves, especially when it comes to our bodies, we would just be like, you can't talk to yourself that way. You're like precious. Your body's perfect. It is really hard. It's really hard to do. Martika, so resonant. Fire, movement, and music came to me recently about improving myself generally. Really beautiful reading. Oh, lovely. Yeah, fire's been about, hasn't it? I've heard you talk about fire a lot recently, Martika. I know that's been in your space, that the elemental energy of fire. But I've been like witnessing that in my life and in other people and what they're talking about too. More themes of fire coming up, which is interesting. Okay, emotion is next. Okay, show us the higher wisdom, the highest guidance to help. Okay. Oh, this was very quick. And look, I think it probably relates to exactly what we were talking about. Like, seeing ourselves as empresses. So the empress, she is like the symbol of beauty in the tarot. And it's not just because she's physically beautiful. She embodies all that is beautiful about the natural world. She embodies the cycles of birth and growth and death and decay. Right now we see her in her fullness, her fullest potential, which is like her fullness of about to be birthing new life into the world. But she is supported in her embodying this beauty. She is surrounded by abundance. And emotionally, I think one thing that I'm getting from this is to, if emotionally we feel a bit lost, or we feel like things aren't working out for us, and we're starting to like develop that kind of self-pity kind of energy, and we want to get out of that because it's a trap. I actually have a whole episode that's going up tomorrow on my podcast about the energy of self-victimization, the disempowering energy of that, and how the society encourages us to disempower ourselves by identifying as victims of things. When we're in that state, we stop feeling grateful, feeling gratitude for the beauty that's constantly surrounding us. So rather than just being like, well, of course she's beautiful, look at her, she's beautiful, she's this empress who's pregnant, like there's nothing more beautiful than that. She is that beautiful because she's allowing herself to embody all that is beautiful about the natural world. She is like, I am worthy of this. I'm embodying it all right now in this image. And we can all choose to do that at any moment. With whether you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. If you want to feel more beauty in your life, if you want to feel more beautiful and like encourage more self-love, one way to do it, and I've never thought about this before, but it's just coming through this card, is to get into this flow state of allowing yourself to feel the beauty of the natural world. So to just, and like, if you're standing with your feet on the beautiful soft grass and you can feel through the vortexes of your feet, this beautiful energy coming from the earth that the earth's sharing with us, we're like, that's from the earth and I'm separate. But if we are connecting in and we are like allowing ourselves to actually say, no, I'm of the earth, and not just that, right now I am the beauty of this beautiful sensation. Or it could be the beauty of a butterfly, or it could be the beauty of flowers, or whatever it might be. Seek inspiration in how we can love ourselves more in the natural world, because like, the birds don't tell themselves how ugly they are. Surely they don't. If they did, they wouldn't just be out and about flying and singing to us all day long. The butterfly doesn't come out of its cocoon and be like, ugh, I don't like the color of the wings I got. No, the butterfly's like, oh my God, I've transformed. I'm going to go and learn how to use these wings, and I'm going to have the best time in this incredible body that I've been gifted. Again, this transformed body. So I think the message of this card is like not to feel bad about ourselves, not to cast judgment on ourselves, especially around our physicality. To lean into the feminine aspect, in that we can all be beautiful, no matter how hard our edges are, no matter how we see ourselves, we can all feel beautiful, like beautiful creatures. And it might not come through looking in a mirror. It might come through making a delicious meal for someone else and then being like, oh, I'm having such a nice time eating this. And you get to feel the beauty that you've created for them, this beautiful experience. You're like, I'm not going to allow that to be separate from me. I'm going to embody that too and feel that. I'm literally feeding my kids butterflies as you're talking about them. That's cute. Yeah, and if you're having trouble with this, if there's not many moments in your life where you can actually allow yourself to feel beautiful by embodying feelings of beauty, sensations of beauty, like images of beauty, like just go out into nature and sit next to a flower and you'll see a bee come. You'll just see one and you'll get to marvel at how beautiful this scenery is. And you know, like just see if you can like be a part of that and allow yourself to feel the beauty. You're feeding them butterflies. I'm imagining that's like a pasta or a sweet or something, like a candy, that it's not an actual butterfly. I hope it's not a butterfly. But I mean, I don't know what kind of luxurious butterfly house you live in to like eat the butterflies, because that would be pretty cool and lush as well. Let me just see if anything else is coming through. The other thing is, this often talks about creativity. So another way we can, I don't want to say soothe ourselves. I think this is beyond soothing. This is actually sparking inspiration, sparking like thrills, like sparking feelings of a different kind of fulfillment, is about creativity. Actually, I had a chat with someone, I think, let's see who's here, if they're here. I had a chat with someone recently about like what happens when you're in your best creative flow, or when you just start to embrace your creativity more. If you get out of a phase of stagnation and you get into the flow of creation, what can happen is that people in your world start seeing the true you, and you attract people into your field who are so in resonance with the true authentic you. So this is another thing that is a cool key of wisdom to share. Like, get into the creative flow and incredible beauty will be attracted to you. You'll be inviting beautiful experiences of connection and fun and inspiration. Message, so I gotta speed this up. Okay, that's Empress. pet butterflies that we're releasing this week. Yay! Oh, I love that. That's amazing. How cool. Give me a sec. I'm just going to see if I can plug this in. I don't have an extension cord out here. That ain't gonna work. Oh, I so cool. I think I've done it, guys. I'll just be a second longer. Okay, I'm back. I'm good. It's a little intermission. How gorgeous the butterflies are doing the eating. Oh, the butterflies are eating. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, the love here. Oh, you guys are so awesome. Okay. Oh no, that's not charging. What's going on? One more second. I'm back, guys. Can't see it. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, I'm going to run through these last two quick, and I don't want to lose the replay. So I'm sorry that this is going to be a speedy one, but let's do this. Mental's next. Okay. What is the highest wisdom for our mental selves, for our mental energy fields for this Gemini season? Yeah, that Empress, the reason it jumped out is because it was like the best thing you can do this Gemini season is love yourself. Just love yourself. Worship yourself. Honor yourself. Okay. Oh, I think there wants to be two, so we'll see how this goes. All right, mental. Ace of Swords. Yeah, okay, so at the very beginning of this, I talked about like it feeling like we've almost had a timeline shift or something. I feel like I don't like using those terms very much because they're so like woo-woo jargon kind of stuff. But like in my world now, my cat catches mice, and that wasn't even a possibility before because he's not into that stuff. The Ace of Swords, this is like, again, allowing the possibility for a completely new way of thinking about yourself and the world and how you fit in there to open up. This is an activation of your crown chakra. What's going to happen now is we've gone through some cycle, and I can't pinpoint what it is, but we're all a bit more activated as we move forward. We are more open to receiving messages. We're going to start getting them. There's going to start being, look out for like, what do you call it? The angel numbers and like messages from the universe to affirm you're on the right path. Like look out for those messages because they're going to start appearing more frequently. You are going to see them in your field. They are going to be drops. So this crown's really like big for me right now, and I look for the symbols. The symbols speak to me when I do these readings, and that is a really big one. This piercing of the crown, this clearing of the channel, this clarity of reception, this antenna, it's now activated. So that's the first thing. So if there's any type of communication, say psychic or otherwise, that you've been wanting to have with your higher self or your guides, your team, even aliens, let's just aim high. anything, if you've been really like wanting to open up a new communication channel, this is all perceived through the mental field. While it happens beyond that field, we like compute it through our mental field and our kind of our heart vortex, right? But it's a lot to do with mental. We need to have developed the mental clarity and the mental space in order to do it. We've all done a lot of work in this respect lately, and we have created new space to be able to receive much deeper like lessons and messages of higher wisdom to help us align more deeply and closely with our highest path, okay? So that's one aspect. If you've been wanting to engage in a new layer of study, say to do with your spirituality and your spiritual development, or it could be in relation to a new direction you're wanting to take with your career or something like that, now's a beautiful time to do it, because you're going to be super receptive. You're going to be super open. Your channel is going to be really activated and able to absorb information quite easily at the moment through this season. So this is a beautiful one for Gemini season specifically, which is an air sign, and it's like it's a new opportunity to develop new pathways, like brain pathways, new ways of thinking, just expanding your own wisdom and knowledge. But like, I really love that can be used for communicating with higher realms, interdimensional like entities, beings. And I don't use that word as positive or negative, just like other energies that aren't necessarily physical. It can also be like new communication with actual people, normal people, humans in your field. So yeah, if you're wanting to speak your truth more, if you haven't felt like it was the right time to embark on a new project where you're speaking your truth, this could be like a podcast, this could be making content for the internet, it could just be speaking your day-to-day life about your actual like spiritual beliefs and stuff, that things that you've kept to yourself before. It might actually be a time where it's time. People are ready to receive that side of you. Whatever you've been holding on to that you haven't been ready to share, people are much more open to receiving that now, and they're actually waiting to hear from you. And then on top of that, I said I had kind of two that wanted to be read. The other one was the 10 of Pentacles, but it was reversed. And this is always about wisdom for me, like the wealth of wisdom that we accrue over our lifetimes. And it's to do with manifesting the reality that you desire. So what you open up mentally at this time is going to be one of the keys of the wisdom. When you're on your deathbed and you look back at the most important times in your life in developing your wealth, and it's not just money, it's about the legacy. Like, what are people going to remember about you? What did you stand for? What imprint, what energetic imprint do you leave on the earth once you leave? Like, this time and what you open up through this activation, it's going to add. But you're at the kind of start of the journey, and you need to kick that off in order to actually realize this, as you go through your life, that accruing of wisdom, that creating the tree of life, like ticking off all those coins. Okay, so they're together. All right, one more card. What's your interpretation of when time synchronicity turns into 11, 12, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, consistently finding 1 minute off? Is that synchronicity saying wrong energy, snap out of it? I think this is different for everyone. I don't think there's any one answer to these number questions, these synchronicity questions. For me personally, this might just be a new pattern for you, where if that was me, I would perceive it that before you were actively engaged with that number, and that was a magical moment. You're one step ahead now. Oh no, this is later, isn't it? No, I don't think that's a bad thing though. I just think like it might just be that you don't only get to realize the magic because it's 11:11. Why can't you also have magic at 11:12 and 3:34 and 4:45? Aren't they magical too? This is like those portals that are like, it's the 22nd of February 2022. like, that's all well and good, but I got a specific message from the Akashic Records that day to share with you all, which I did, which was about, like, these portals actually just reminders to us to not miss the magic in any moment. Like, every single moment is magical, and, like, we shouldn't just only allow ourselves to, like, see this magical time and date when all the numbers are the same. You know what I mean? So I think it's just another level of your synchronicity, that portal dates I never feel. Yeah, some people are really connected with them, and they really, like, get a bit too, like, intense on social media. And it's funny that all the people who complain about the calendar not being real and completely constructed love those portal dates for some reason. Okay, that's how it feels to me. It comes and goes. It's still synchronicity, but it's not symmetrical. Yeah, it doesn't have to be symmetrical to have perfection in it, right? The fact that you're just noticing is still, it's going to evolve to something else next too. And I want you to, if this has become your new pattern, the most powerful thing you can do is think about, when you see these numbers, what are you thinking about? That thought is important. It's being reflected right now in this pattern that you're seeing. The universe is trying to communicate to you. That's always how I see this. I'm not thinking about something profound and then I see a number and then I'm like, I'm going to pull over so I can look up what this angel number means on the internet. It's like, what was I thinking about then? I've got to do something about that thought. That's an important thought. I've got to explore that more. Often it's like, yes, do it. Or it's just like the universe laughing with me, you know? Okay, so we've done physical, we've done emotional, we've done mental, spiritual. Okay, the Emperor popped out. I guess this is the card for spiritual. The Emperor came out before I even got to ask the questions. The Emperor really wants to be seen. Give me a minute with this card because he can be really harsh. Okay, he's upright. So this is the good Emperor. This is the father figure that is protective because he really loves you and he wants you to have the best life possible. He is the father that puts in structure. It's like what the super nanny does. Super nanny comes into these families and gives them structures and like foundations to actually create safety and like an environment where a child can thrive. We need structure to be able to like expand and grow. Generally, if there's no structure at all, we can like lose ourselves. We can get really lost. Or we can experience chaos. So what this is saying, it doesn't necessarily have to be us seeking structure from outside of ourselves. But now, energetically, this is a major arcana card. So the energy of the collective realm right now is actually inviting us or calling on us, those who are spiritually aware, those who are spiritually adept or spiritually attentive, whatever you want to call it, those on the path, you guys here right now. This is actually a time that requires some structure. I don't know if that's because things are going to get chaotic around us, and for us who are a bit more attuned to be structured and be able to like hold the frequency through our structure, hold space, hold frequency for those who might be really lost in any kind of chaotic energy. It could be that. So we are to be the emperors. The emperor is who's willing to fight for us, a righteous fight. He's willing to fight to protect us. So we can have that very protective quality, and we don't want it to be like in a controlling way. It's not about control. If that's what that would be if it was upside down. It's not about control. It's not about tyranny, right? It's actually about acting out of love, wanting to hold the structure of your, I want to say like building a safe spiritual space or safe container for people who are coming through to be able to like not lose themselves. And this could be us. I could be speaking to you, or I could be speaking to you because it's important for you to do this for your family around you, because things could get a bit chaotic, and like you holding some structure would be really great for everyone in your life. They'll actually be able to like anchor into your energy. Let me just talk to this card a bit more. Yeah, there's something about the Emperor where he knows he's not particularly emotional. but he knows what could be coming, okay? And I don't like all the doomsday stuff with the kind of predictions. I'm not into that because no timeline is set in stone. Things can change at any moment for every single one of us. But at the same time, he's prepared. He's already got his armor on. He's prepared to battle if required. I don't necessarily think there's a fight involved, but what I'm saying is sometimes when we have a structure in place for our spiritual practice, so this could be a devotional practice, this could be that we're actually going to create a structure for ourselves, that we are going to do meditation every day, or we're going to do a morning ritual that involves journaling, or we're going to be doing a cleanse, or anything that we might be setting out for ourselves that will help our spiritual growth and development. Structure will be really useful at this time, really useful. Let's just focus on ourselves instead of other people coming through. So I think putting a bit more structure into your spiritual practice could be really useful right now. And it's not just going to be useful for you, it's going to be useful for the whole collective, because that's how the Emperor works. What he does, the choices that he makes, it is for the betterment of the entire collective. It's not just for him. People can see him as kind of harsh and lacking emotion and lacking flow, but it's just he needs to hold a particular frequency in order for there to be stability in the realm that he rules over. We can do that in our own lives, okay? So that is a really good preparation as well. If you say life isn't chaotic right now, but in 6 months it might be, and we can anchor into that time when we were doing this preparatory work, where we were creating structures for ourselves that really help to contain our development and to ground our frequency. That's what this is more about. It's not about prepping or anything like that. It's more about putting some structure in place for yourself to help you meet your goals when it comes to how your spiritual path and how you're developing. Like, we don't get anywhere we want to be without putting in the work or practicing. If we want to be a really good musician, unless you're incredibly gifted, and even someone who's incredibly gifted has the passion to be practicing a lot. But if you're not naturally gifted, if you want to be a good musician or a good artist, you do need to practice, and you need to create a structure that allows you to practice as often as possible, if that makes sense. I've done pretty well. I'm on my moon at the moment, so I was like, I'm just going to be I'm not going to get my words out properly. This will all be so scrambled, but I think it's one of those moons where the intuition is strong today. So this is the only card that I feel like I'm a bit blah, blah, blah. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Okay, how does this card sit? Some people don't like the Emperor. So because he's got such a Saturnian influence, a lot of people are really dark on Saturn energy, but actually Saturn is what helps us. It contains our experience so that we can grow. Saturn's a very important influence. Work your salt, your container. Welcome. We're on our last card, Natalie. So you can watch the replay. I'm going to be putting this replay up on YouTube. I know it's really annoying to watch long videos on Instagram, so I've started downloading them and putting them up on YouTube. My battery's really low, so I think I'm going to have to call it here, guys. I really, really, really appreciate you all joining tonight. It's been a really fun and social energy, true Gemini energy happening here. I'll probably come back in a couple of weeks and do a fun one, do some free reads, because I miss you all. So keep your eyes out on my feed for that. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to spruik anything other than the podcast. If you like my energy, go listen to the Initiates podcast. You can find a link in my bio, and you can also search it on any podcast player. We go into all manner of spiritual themes and concepts, and we explore them in depth and ask ourselves questions that help challenge our belief systems and grow. All right, that's it from me, guys. Thank you for joining me. I thank all our guides and wish them on their way, and I will see you all next time. Have a beautiful Gemini season. Bye-bye.